Oh, this is just amazing. I'm busy reading some posts from our clients on our Coach Perry training forum, and Mary has just made my day. Her post reads, I ran the Jack and Jill downhill trail marathon for my 64th birthday. I haven't run this distance in 35 years, and I finished it in 4 hours 27, where her goal was 4 hours 30. Just amazing. Mary goes on to say, we started with 12 people that had signed up for this pace, and I was the only one that was able to keep up the pace and finish with the goal time. Absolutely amazing. Well done, Mary. Today we're diving into a topic that I am so passionate about, running after menopause. We need to take a step back and talk about the 3 fundamental pillars that will make all the difference in your running through menopause journey. These 3 fundamentals are vital. We will explore in great detail why prioritizing these 3 elements will really set you up for success, just like they did for Mary. I'll also share with you one bonus hack that is going to have a massive impact as you start your running after menopause journey. Females are often so busy. We're managing careers, looking after our families, helping our parents, really just carrying a lot of the mental load. And this is why point number 1 is so often overlooked, and why it also makes your running feel so difficult. It's very easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new running routine, but put very simply, without the correct fuel, your body will not perform at its best. You are what you eat. And literally, this can be one of the biggest wins for you during menopause. It is well documented that females do not eat enough in the day. Often, you are so busy that you just eat whatever is at hand. It is really helpful in this time to work out what your body requires for the amount of energy you're expending, looking at 3 well-balanced meals a day and 2 healthy snacks, including protein, so we ensure that we are upping that protein intake. This is why nutrition is the first of 3 fundamentals. Nutrition remains vitally important for menopausal runners for 7 reasons. The first of these is bone health. Estrogen plays such a vital role in the strength of our bones. When we have normally functioning estrogen, it assists calcium being absorbed into the bones. And as we know, calcium is really, really important in keeping our bones nice and strong. As we go through menopause, estrogen and progesterone fluctuate, and that'll cause a bit of a disturbance in that absorption of calcium. And post-menopause, that estrogen is flatlined, and therefore we no longer have that assistance from estrogen to help the absorption of calcium. And so nutrition needs to then play that role to help keep the bones nice and healthy. Adequate intake of vitamins like calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K are pivotal to keeping your bones healthy. You should be able to get this from your normal balanced diet, but if you can't, then looking at some extra supplementation would be key. Vitamin D is also really important. And if you live in an area that doesn't get a lot of sun, you really need to ensure that you're getting enough vitamin D. This is not something that you want to just be taking. Make sure you get this tested before you start taking that as a supplement. Postmenopausal women have a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. This is well documented in the science. There is a lot of evidence to show that menopausal hormonal treatments can help with this, but if you aren't a candidate for that, nutrition will also play a massive role in ensuring good heart health. It is really, really important that you balance your diet out and that it's rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. I know that one of the main concerns of menopausal runners is managing your weight. Nutrition obviously plays a massive role here, focusing on the right portion sizes, focusing on balanced diet, and focusing on taking in the right kind of macronutrients. A key aspect here as well is ensuring that we are upping our protein intake. This is twofold. 1, it's going to help you build lean muscle mass, and 2, it's going to help with your overall balanced diet throughout the day. In point 7, I'm going to touch on another key reason why nutrition is so important for weight management. But first, let's have a look at how nutrient deficiencies can impact your mood and energy levels. Again, it is very well documented how mood and energy levels are changing through menopause. Your nutrition can play a vital role in helping to manage that over and above the hormonal changes. In particular, when we're looking at your energy levels, if you're constantly feeling tired, fatigued every day, nutrition is one of the first aspects that you should be looking at. We need to ensure that you are getting enough calories and energy to fulfill the output that you're doing. And that's not just got to do with your energy or your exercise output, but got to do with your general functioning every day. Your gut undergoes changes with age and menopause. And as a runner, this is really, really key because we want to ensure we are able to absorb the right kind of nutrients during running and definitely after running. Your diet does need to include a lot of fiber, but you want to make sure that you periodize this or manage this in and around your long runs, in particular if you struggle with something like runner's trots. I'm sure most of you have experienced some form of brain fog if you've been going through menopause. So many of my clients tell me about how they suffer from brain fog, and we know that cognitive decline is a problem in menopausal women. Of course, there are so many other factors that are going to contribute to this, but try and control your controllables, and nutrition is one of those. And this includes incorporating antioxidants and omega-3s within your diet. As I mentioned earlier, another key aspect that nutrition plays in helping to manage your weight is in blood sugar control. We know that insulin sensitivity may decline as we get older, and this has a big effect on your ability to manage your weight. What happens is a lot of our visceral fat moves more to the center, and so we tend to have that not so fun belly fat, and this can become a very frustrating process. Again, your nutrition plays a vital role in helping you be able to manage this. When we become slightly more insulin sensitive, we struggle to balance the sugars within our blood, and so ensuring that you are consuming good quality carbohydrates and staying away from highly processed foods and alcohol are going to go a long way in helping you manage this. Prioritizing your nutrition is essential for your overall health, managing your menopausal symptoms, helping to reduce the risk of chronic diseases, and protecting an overall quality of life as you get older. It's all good and well focusing on your nutrition, but the second fundamental is going to have the biggest impact on your running and on your overall health and well-being too. Science shows that this is one of the most important tools that we have at our disposal to ensure longevity. It has a major impact on our day-to-day living and definitely on our running. Sleep is important for so many reasons, for health reasons and for running reasons. And I know that most of you are probably not getting enough sleep or good quality of sleep in this stage of life because of your menopausal symptoms. And I'll give you a little hack in just a little bit to try and help you with that. But first, let's go through the reasons why sleep is so important. I don't know about you, but if I don't get enough sleep, I am extremely grumpy. And as it is, if you're going through menopause, you've already got a whole bunch of hormonal changes that are impacting your mood and your stress levels. Now throw on top of that some poor sleep, and of course your mood levels are going to be impacted. You may feel quite irritable, you may feel a little bit demotivated, and that of course makes running really, really tough to get up and do, and also affects your general wanting to get up and live life and do things well. Biologically, we use sleep to help manage our physiological function. Our bodies work up, and then we use sleep to bring ourselves back down and for everything to become a bit more restored. And so if you're not sleeping, if you're not getting enough sleep or good quality of sleep, you can be assured that one of those physiological functions is going to take a knock. And normally the first one that does take a knock is your immune system. Studies have shown that if you are getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night consistently, you are significantly more at risk of getting sick. And so if you're really struggling to get 7 hours sleep, we have to concentrate on our quality of sleep. Of course, that is the ideal. I'm a realist. I know that that is not always the case, but we want to be trying to get somewhere between 6.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night. And if we're not able to do that, we definitely have to focus on our quality of sleep. Would you wake up after 4 to 5 hours sleep and pilot a commercial jet knowing that you have 300 plus lives in your hands? Probably not, because you know that your cognitive function would be poor after little sleep. This is exacerbated with menopausal symptoms. We know that there are changes in cognitive function, changes in mood, change in brain fog. And now, if you're getting less sleep, you are just exacerbating that problem. Here's something that is quite scary. There is already an increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's in menopausal females. It has been proven that continued poor quality and quantity of sleep can increase your risk for dementia and Alzheimer's. Whether you are just starting to run after menopause, or if you've been running for a very long time, the most important determinant for your success as a runner post-menopause is how you recover. We always think that we get the benefit of exercise while we are doing it. It plays into that no pain, no gain concept of the harder you work, the better you're going to be. But it doesn't actually work like that. We get the benefit of all the exercises that we're doing when we are recovering. The body turns around and is like, oh man, I did not like feeling like that. And it makes itself a little bit stronger. And the number one way to get the most recovery is through sleep. Good quality of sleep and a decent amount of sleep in the night. I know you're probably thinking, Shona, this is all good and well. This sounds very nice, but I'm not getting the right amount of sleep or good quality sleep thanks to these menopausal symptoms. And we know this because of the changes in hormones. There are changes to how your body thermoregulates itself. And you might get symptoms of night sweats or hot flashes, which really affect your sleep. There are other people who have reported symptoms of insomnia, and which really definitely affect your sleep. And so I'd mentioned earlier that I'd give you a slight hack that hopefully could help with this. The first thing would be to chat to your physician to see if you are a candidate for menopause hormonal therapy. It has shown excellent results to help with these menopausal symptoms and really, really good results within hot flashes and night sweats. Not everyone is going to be able to have menopause hormonal therapy, so this is something that you need to speak to your doc about. Overall, as something that we can all control is our own environment. I like to use the saying, control your controllables. And so if you struggle with night sweats and perhaps you're not a candidate for menopausal hormonal therapies, then this is something you need to do. We call it sleep hygiene. We work on a few aspects in and around your sleep routine and your bedroom environment. The first of these is that we really want to ensure that your room is dark. If you have light curtains, it is probably a good idea to get some eye masks to block out that early morning light. You also, and this is where it comes in with night sweats, you want to ensure that your room is a cool temperature. We're talking a temperature of around 18 degrees Celsius has been shown to be the ideal temperature for maximal and good quality sleep. If you have a TV in your room, you want to make sure that there's no little red lights flashing or showing. Even though we are closing our eyes, our eyelids are very thin membranes and the brain can still pick up that light activity. Definitely no cell phones or laptops before you go to bed. There are changes that happen hormonally there that affect melatonin that will affect your ability to go to sleep. And lastly, while it's fun, it is not helpful for our sleep, is consumption of alcohol. It is detrimental to quality of sleep and how long you sleep for. It may feel like you're passing out and having a good sleep, but you're really not. And so in peak training times, stay away from consuming alcohol. Before I share that major hack that I mentioned to you at the beginning of this video, we have to talk about fundamental number 3. This fundamental is probably the hardest to focus on. It doesn't allow for instant gratification, but if you do it and do it consistently, it will yield the biggest results. Strength training, also known as weight training or resistance training, is important if you're just starting running for these reasons. First up, and perhaps most importantly, if you're starting your running journey, is that it helps prevent injuries. Running is a compounding sport, continued force on the bones and muscular structures. And if those aren't strong enough to sustain those loads, something will break along the chain. We have to incorporate strength training to help us stay injury-free so that you can continue to run and keep getting better and better and better. And because you're new to running, you may find that some things are getting a bit sore, the body's working harder in other areas, and so we use strength training to just balance this out and ensure that the body is strong enough to sustain all of that load. The second aspect with strength training is that it helps your running performance. It helps you become a better runner without even running. As a beginner runner, you may find that you fatigue quite easily, and strength training is known to help you push that fatigue to much later on. So you're becoming a better runner by not even running. I know so many of you are struggling to manage your weight in this time, and I'm going to touch on how strength training can help you with that. But right now, I want to speak around physiological aspects that menopause has affected your body in terms of lean muscle mass and bone health. We know that you're constantly losing lean muscle mass over time. That's life. That's always going to happen. But the way we can help you with that is by incorporating strength training to ensure that we're not just constantly losing that muscle mass over time. This may be something that you hear often, and it's definitely something you'll hear a lot on this channel. But by losing this muscle constantly, we are not going to be able to, one, perform the activities of daily living like we used to. And for your running, you're not going to be able to maintain the speeds and energy levels like you used to. So let's utilize the strength training to build lean muscle mass and reverse those effects of aging. The same thing goes for your bone health. Again, we are constantly losing bone mineral density over the years. And something that is not spoken about enough of is the effects of osteoporosis on mortality in life later on. We need to look after our bones, and it starts now. I like to think of both of these things, muscle mass and bone health, as a muscle bank. You are putting money into, or you're putting into your muscle bank so that you can draw out from it later on. So start now. Even if you've never done any strength training, you want to start doing strength training now. So we're building lean muscle and bone so we can take out of that as we get older. The more we put in now, the more we can take out later. Think of that like a financial investment or your retirement annuity. The more we're putting in now, the more we can take out later. If you only start much later, it's still better to start than to not do it at all. Strength training is the one key aspect that menopausal women leave out of their weight management plan or strategy. It's going to be a key factor in helping you manage your weight through this transition. The reason for this is that we know that people with higher skeletal muscle mass and more muscle have a higher basal metabolic rate, which means that essentially they're utilizing more calories just sitting during the day. Add on top of that all of your activity that you're doing, you will then be working and burning more calories throughout the day. Aside from that, you are also going to be burning more calories or utilizing more fuel when you do your strength training over and above your running. And so you're almost getting a bit of a double whammy for your calories in versus your calories out. And because I know this is so important, I'll add a link to our free Master Strength Training program below. All of these aspects with strength training are absolutely important, but none of it matters if you are not doing these exercises with the correct technique. It is really important, along with the correct technique, that we are looking at progression, so how you are moving through your strength plan, how you improve over time, as well as the intensity and the volume of strength training that you're doing. We want the strength training to complement your running, not take over. So we don't need it to be a super high intensity continuously. Some high intensity is useful, and we don't want a massive amount of volume. This, one, helps prevent injuries, and two, ensures that it is complementing you to become a better runner. Now, what you've been waiting for, the big hack to help you to start running after menopause. And I'm telling you this because I've helped thousands of female runners with this exact thing. You need to follow a structured training plan. Why is this important? Everything we've spoken about in this video will mean nothing if you are not managing your load of running and your recovery. As I mentioned earlier, we only get the benefit of the exercise we are doing while we are recovering. So if you are not managing that load and the recovery, you're never going to improve. You can't just recover and do nothing. We have to have a stimulus. We have to have a load that gets us going, and then we recover and we get fitter, faster, and stronger. And by following a structured training plan, you will know exactly how much load to do and how much recovery to do to get the best results. Structured training plans also incorporate the right amount of frequency, intensity, and volume. Fancy words, pretty much it's telling you how many sessions you should run in a week, how many strength sessions you should be doing, how many rest days you should have, and then with the volume, how much running you should be doing. Do you suddenly just start and go out and run 50 kilometers or 30 miles a week? No, we want to start you at the correct volume and build you up. So your volume is really important. Touching on that is the progression. So we start at a certain place and we work up. We take you from where you are, the body recovers, gets itself a little bit stronger, and that is called progression. And then lastly, which is really important, is the intensity of exercise. So if you are going out there and you are just doing all your runs hard, you are putting yourself at a higher risk of injury. That constant loading of running, now done at a high intensity, puts you at a higher risk of running related injuries. So instead of you trying to figure this all out, take the guesswork out of it and follow a structured training plan. I'm hosting a webinar to show you exactly how to put all of this together. You can save your seat by clicking on the link on the screen now.